Hello everyone and welcome. This is Lisa, and yes, this is a live video. These kind of videos make me a little nervous because I have to try to remember everything I'm going to say, and also I can't, go back and say it different. So thank you if you are watching this live video. And the reason that I named it Why Some People Hate This Channel, and I do have to refer to my notes here, I'm going to tell you why. And actually the reason a lot of people hate it is the reason a lot of other people love it. And the biggest reason is I'm not a narc sympathizer, okay? And so I do see a lot of comments that say, narcissists were traumatized when they were young and they can't help it and they're wounded and we should be more forgiving of them. I'm sorry, I'm not that person. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay, so I made a little list about just to put some things in perspective as to why I'm not a narc sympathizer. And I would even venture to say that most people, if they've experienced pretty extreme narcissistic abuse, you're probably not a narc sympathizer either, okay? Because the fact of the matter is, yes, they're wounded. Yes, they've had trauma in their lives. However, they are aware of what they're doing. Okay, so let me just give you an example. Okay, so who among you has sympathy for Charles Manson? How many of you have sympathy for the women that he coerced into killing people? Okay. And any of these people, if you don't know who I'm talking about, well, you should with people like Charles Manson. And fortunately, he is deceased now, as is John Wayne Gacy. If you're not sure who that guy is, he's the dude that dressed up as a clown. He murdered more than 30 young men that they even know of, and with absolutely zero remorse. He was put to death, and how many people are feeling sorry for him? I'm not, okay? Richard Ramirez, also known as the Night Stalker, all right? It killed men, women, children, did all this sort of stuff. Nobody is feeling sorry for them. And did I say somebody? The Unabomber, okay? Does anybody feel sorry for the Unabomber? Probably not. And all right, what about these people that go into the schools and shoot up innocent children, shoot up the teachers, and just the damage that they do, not only to the people that they have murdered, but what about these people's families? Does anybody feel sorry for the shooter? Okay. Also, people who abuse the elderly, you feel sorry for them? What about the people who like to identify themselves as MAP? And that's an acronym for minor attracted person. Well, that's kind of also the nice way of saying pedophile. Does anyone feel sorry for them? And believe me, there's people going around right now talking about MAP pride and that it's okay to be attracted to a minor as long as you don't act on it. What? All right. So, to just put it in more perspective, if the person who was with the narcissist, okay, Gabby Petito with Brian Laundrie, are you feeling sorry for Brian Laundrie? Are you feeling sorry for Brian Laundrie's parents, who obviously aided and abetted their son and refused to even speak to the Petito family? So what it seems like to me, that unless somebody literally murders someone else, nobody feels sorry for them. I mean, do you feel sorry for Chris Watts, who, murdered his wife, or the other guy, Scott Peterson, who murdered his pregnant wife? No, of course you don't. I mean, unless you're a psychopath. you don't feel sorry for these people. But since the majority of narcissists they're not murdering the person physically, they're murdering their soul, they're creating unbelievable amounts of trauma, but they're so good at playing a victim that people feel sorry for them. And that's why a lot of people can't stand my channel. And they're like, well, you must not be a real empath because, otherwise, how can you be so hateful and mean towards narcissists? They deserve it. Yeah, they do. And, there's a lot of different kinds of empaths, all right? And for those of you who are super empaths, Heyoka empaths, and you want to learn a lot more about that, check out my boy Peter. He is at the Chosen 144, and I actually have him listed on recommended playlist. All right, the thing about it is, if somebody murders a person, that's terrible, that's awful. But you know what? At least that person, they're not suffering anymore. They're murdered and they're not suffering. The person who is suffering from narcissistic abuse, especially those who spent years with them, and I mean a decade, 2 decades, 4 decades, a lifetime with a narcissist, that person was also murdered. Their soul. They murder their soul. They murder every single thing good about that person. This is somebody who has lived unknowingly for quite some time with lies, with deceit, with cheating, with being gaslit, with being blamed for everything. They've been shown zero compassion. They've been told that they're worthless, that they have literally no worth. They're going to take whatever it is that is the most painful thing for you, whatever's precious to you. I did this in another video. That's what they're going to destroy. Those things that you told them in moments of your own vulnerability, believing that you could trust that person, they're going to use that against you, all right? They're going to lie directly to your face to the point where you start to doubt yourself. And for the people who have said, well, isn't recording a narcissist narcissistic? No, it's not. And yes, I absolutely have recorded both my narcissists plus some other ones because I learned the hard way. Because I'm being told, no, I didn't say this, I said that. To the point where I'm thinking, oh my God, am I losing my mind? Is it me? So what do? I recorded them. And just so you know, that's not against the law everywhere. And in Oregon, it's absolutely not against the law, and you can use it in court, guaranteed. So no, I don't have sympathy for the narcissist. I don't have sympathy for the narcissists that make narc channels, okay? I don't. They're getting what's called tertiary supply because of you guys that watch them. And again, I'm not gonna tell you who to watch or who not to watch. I'm just saying that I'm not going to. I have. That's why I know what I'm talking about with it. And they're only doing it to get recognition. And the ones that are married, there's some that are, I can bet and believe that the only reason that they're doing that is to keep the wife happy or keep the husband happy and give the illusion that they are now self-aware and that they now, have learned something from this. When it is a proven fact, and when this becomes something different, I'll gladly tell you. But right now, there is no cure for NPD, narcissistic personality disorder. And those of you, not you may necessarily, but I see things like, oh, narcissists only represent a very small portion of the population, and they don't, there's just not that many of them, and your chances of running into them are very slim. No, your chances of not running into a narcissist are almost zilch, whether you recognized it or not. And that doesn't mean you had to be in an intimate relationship with one as a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a husband, a wife. Who of you have not had a narcissist that was a coworker, was a boss, was a neighbor, a parent, an in-law, a sibling? I mean, it is way more epidemic than people realize. I mean, think about it. Look how many channels there are about narcissists and about narcissism. And some of these people have been running these channels for years and years and years because it's such a complex subject and there's a lot, to talk about. And I feel like I'm getting comments on here, and you guys, I'm going to try to look at them. Bear with me. Okay. It's incongruent to say you were tortured by a narcissist, but to flirt with them online. Okay, I hope you're not talking about me. I don't flirt with narcissists. However, I've seen it. I have seen that. If you are referring to others, I have absolutely seen people flirting with narcissists. I couldn't tell you why, but me, no. And I'm going to try to see more of this channel. Sorry, I'm having to get really close. Okay, so somebody said narc channels. What I mean by that is I'm not talking about people like me and other really wonderful people, Angie Atkinson, Dr. Ramani, Peter Sapper, and there's dozens and dozens of others. I just can't remember everyone right now. They're talking about narcissism. I am talking about actual narcissists that are running channels. And people are paying them for sessions. Are you freaking kidding me? I mean, if I wanted to listen to a narcissist give me advice, I'd have stayed married to the one that I had, because believe me, he was full of advice. And, guys, I'm sorry. I don't have my contacts in, and I'm trying to see your channel, your comments. Bear with me. I'm really not good at lives. And now I can't see anything. So, all right, whatever. So if I'm missing your comment, I will answer it later. All right. And honestly, I'm just trying to do a live because so many people are, I just answered I did a video yesterday about people who are telling me that I don't blink. And like, am I a real person? Am I really human? Yeah. And obviously I do blink. Obviously I don't always wear filters. I only have a filter on now. I just got up and I got I should be getting credit from Maui Jim because I'm always wearing their stuff. And as far as like, I'm in actually my Dr. Seuss leggings. Because I prefer to be comfortable. And you go, why you got this scarf on? It is cold in this house. And this is not a slam on anybody who is bipolar, because honestly, I think the most bipolar thing there is going on right now is the weather. It is the weather. And so at any time during the day, it's like, wait a minute, she's got like a sleeveless shirt on, and now she's all bundled up. That's how much the weather changes. Even when I'm in Vegas, one day it will be 90, the next day it will be 70. I mean, hey, don't know what's going on, but that is absolutely why I do that. And my neck gets the coldest of all. This is where I get cold. Anyway, so also wanted to talk a little bit more about the fawn response, or the trauma responses that we naturally use as we go through life in dealing with any kind of trauma, whether it's a narcissist or it's just an uncomfortable situation. And as you guys know, that's fight, flight, freeze, fawn. I have been a big fawner my entire life. My entire life. It did not come from my parents. And I'll tell you a quick story. When I was 5 years old, I was in kindergarten. I was really small, kind of a little skinny kid, okay? And there were two people in the kindergarten class. There were other 5-year-olds, right? One was male, one was female. And every day after school, they used to follow me because I walked over to the little Montessori school where my mom taught, and it wasn't very far, but they would, catch up with me and push me down and skin my knees and stuff like that. So, and I'm not messing with Catholics here, but I went to Catholic school, and I was taught, forgive and forget. Look for the best in everyone, and and to feel like there must be something going on with someone. And so my way of dealing with it was to just try to be really extra nice to them, because I thought, you know what, if I treat them the way that I want to be treated, they'll be nice to me. In my 5-year-old mind, that's what I believed, and that never happened. As a matter of fact, we went to a little theater production one time, and the girl, who was actually worse, sat right beside me, which I couldn't understand because she acted like she hated me. And during the entire production that we were watching, she dug her fingernails like that into my arm. I mean, just dug, okay? And I'm probably even leaving a mark doing it now. I have really sensitive skin. And I don't even remember what it felt like. I just froze. My teacher was sitting very close. I could have screamed, I could have yelled, help, but I didn't, because whatever it was in me made me feel like if I say anything, it'll be worse. So now, of course, I go home, my mom looks at my arm, it looks like tore up, all right? It's like black and blue and everything like that. So I had to tell my mom. And what that resulted in was, now my kindergarten teacher watched me more. She made sure that I got everywhere safely, but I actually hated it because I was being treated different, and I didn't want to be different. I wanted to be treated like everyone else. And so I remember this story quite a bit because it became the way that I dealt with things throughout my life. Being the people pleaser. My first go-to was never fight. It was almost always either flight or freeze or fawn. It wasn't until I had really no choice that the fight response came out. And the thing is that once you've been with a narcissist, you only have a few choices left. So I tried the appease. That was the go-to. Sometimes things would happen that were so awful, I would just freeze, because that felt like the safest thing to do at the time. Flight, if I could get away from them, that's what it was. And so what a lot of you see now is that bite back response. Now, I'm not going to go beat anybody up, but this is something that so many people go through. And when you're the one going through that narcissistic abuse, when you're the one who's dealing with it, you feel like it's just you. You feel like you're all alone. I felt like nobody would ever understand or even relate to what I went through until I started watching YouTube channels by these wonderful people who are describing exactly what I went through, okay? And that's why I say, honestly, unless you've been through it, I don't think you can really understand it. I think you can empathize with it. I think you can feel compassion for someone else. But just like in the case of, I'm sure there's those of you out there who have lost a child, who have lost a child. Fortunately, that has not been my experience, nor do I want that experience. And while you can empathize with that person and you can go, God, that's really terrible. How bad must that feel? Unless it's happened to you, you can't really understand it. And, so when you see people that are very adamant about and very passionate the way I am about narcissistic abuse, recognize it. It's because I want to help other people, you know. And when I made the channel, I was like, if I can help one person, it's going to be worth it. Fortunately, there's been a lot more than that. I have children, grown children, who have also dealt with narcissists because they're kind of similar to me. They look for the best in others, which makes them really wonderful people. And it also makes them targets. And I don't want that for my children, all right? So it's like setting an example for others, you know. And I've had people say, oh gosh, you know, she just made me mean and bitter and all that. But I can tell you this right now, people who know me in real life, they think I have lots of friends. And for those of you who are clients of mine, you know, we have fun. You guys get to talk any way you want. I have people who just want to just like totally let out the bitching and moaning and the tears. And I encourage it. Get it out, get it out. There's nothing that you're going to say that is going to shock me that I'm not going to be able to take. Believe me, being with a narcissist gives you a lot thicker skin. And okay, I saw the one. Some people do have, you know, motives and hidden agendas, but I believe that the people that resonate with me are the ones that are going to be here. I have my own style, just like everybody who does these channels. We have our own style. I like to use filters a lot of times simply because, well, number one, they're fun, okay? Number two, I just had a photo facial and makes your face just look totally terrible until it heals. So I'm not that kind of vain. That's why I'm here with all the, I don't even know if you can see, my face is totally peeling, you know, and everything like that. I practice skincare. Hey, that's the thing. And actually I have another video coming out where pretty soon here where I made myself look way old. Okay, so I don't always use them to be like cute. I use them to illustrate things because everybody learns in different ways. Some people are more auditory and it's what they hear. Some people are more visual. And so I just look for different ways to put the same kind of message across, so hopefully I can hit every way somebody learns, okay? And even the ones that, you know, are kind of scary, I'm not trying to trigger anyone. And honestly, I don't think there's anything that I could do on this channel to trigger someone who has been narcissistically abused, because you're watching a video. If you lived with a narc, that's scary enough, right? So anyway, I also wanted to, I meant to do this before, but as I just said in a different video, we just hit 14,000, and that's because of you guys. Hold on, here's a comment. Okay. Thank you, Will. You look gorgeous. Thank you. And here's funny. Because somebody had said something, trying to be mean, and it said, "I bet you look terrible in the morning." And I can tell you what, my guy thinks that's when I look the best. I actually think I look terrible. My hair's all over the place, and he thinks that's when I look the best. Even the ex-narc thought that. Yeah. And I think I've even said before, the only thing that my ex-narcissist did not criticize me on was my looks. That was it. And he criticized everybody else on it. I don't know if it's because I was so much younger than him. Who knows? But trust and believe, he criticized every single thing else. And I put pictures up, and I may do this again, of showing like a progression of what I looked like when I met him, which you can even see in my eyes. I'm just like starstruck, like my knight in shining armor just showed up. And as time goes by, if you just cover everything and you just look at my eyes, you're going to see, well, for those of you who can see this, they got sadder and sadder and sadder. And I can tell you this, no amount of makeup could hide it. None. All right. So If you think that you can't glow up after the narc, yes, you can. Because happiness, which is coming from inside of you, that shows on your face. It shows to other people. You start to glow. People that you want around you will come towards you. And it's not because I go other places and talk about narcissists all the time. As a matter of fact, and actually I recommend this for you guys. Of course, I make videos all day. I'm talking about narcs and all this other stuff. And people say, oh, isn't that still triggering to you? Doesn't that keep you stuck with that narc? No. In fact, I see my ex-narc as pathetic. And when I see a picture, if I come across a picture of him, I just think, what in the hell did I see in this guy? That's what I think. So no, he doesn't trigger me anymore, and I don't go around talking about narcissism to other people. If they ask, you know, what do I do? And I say, well, I'm a YouTube creator. Okay, that's the last thing. If they don't ask anything else, I don't say anything else. If they ask what it's about, I say, oh, I'll talk about narcissism. And other than that, I mean, a lot of people will be like, really? And I would say 99% of the people that if I say that's what I talk about, they're like, oh my God, I know one of those, da da da. So that's why when people say the chances of you meeting one is slim, no, it's not. And actually, once you recognize narcissism, and maybe you didn't recognize it until you were actually with a full-on narc, if you think about it and you start looking back, that's not the first narc you've ever met. That might be the first narc you were in a relationship, like a romantic relationship with, if that was your case. But if you look back, you're going to notice they have been around you your entire life. The more empathetic you are, the more you attract narcissists. And that is not a slam at empaths, all right? And I'm going to do more about the super empath. Not everybody agrees with this. However, I actually think we all have the ability to become the super empath. And that's another subject. I have done videos on that, but I'm going to do more about it. But this video is getting long. I know y'all hate long videos. So have a wonderful day. I hope this live is coming across well. And I will read your comments and I will answer them. So good day, everybody, and stay narc free.